Hello, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a Wednesday. Every Wednesday is Economic Day. It is the second Wednesday of the month. In particular, we concentrate and focus on economics. Zip code 60619 has the duty today. They're linked to Philadelphia. They're linked to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They're linked to Angola in Africa, and they're linked to all missing persons. So today, one day out the month, and I'm honored that they are assuming leadership to keep us all safe and progressing moving forward. Reenie, I see you. How are you, Queen?
Hello. I'm sorry,
Look
I'm
at
trying
you.
to get set up here.
Yes. Well, we
Hi, how
got.
are you?
Yeah, I saw your little skit the other day. I said you special. We gonna make sure our people know who you are.
I appreciate it. Hi, everybody.
You know, as a people, we just be grateful. We just be grateful. Trials, tribulations. So we just gotta fight forward and be grateful while we able to press forward, you know?
Yep.
Can you hear me okay though?
Yeah, it was a little delayed. I'm trying to get my camera situated. I'm
But
not
yeah,
really, but I am learning.
yeah,
really
we had
appreciate
3 minutes, so you're good to go.
Thank you for inviting me
Yeah.
to.
Well, nah, it's some people who want to know about you. So, did you and Karen connect yet?
Yes, I've spoken to her. Yep.
So I know she's going to be one of the people looking forward to this interview here. So, where are you from?
Originally, I am from New Jersey. I was born in Bud Lake, so that's like the Dover, Rockaway area of Jersey. And in my early teenage years, I moved to Pennsylvania, and that's where I am right now. I've basically been here since, went to college here, grew up here.
Now, where at Pitt? You near Philly or where in Pennsylvania?
I live in the Lehigh Valley area, so I'm about an hour and a half north of Philadelphia, but it's still not far, like a hop, skip, and a jump.
Depending on traffic. So for those who don't know, my name is Cy Smith, founder of the National Block Club University. Our whole mission is about making our neighborhoods safer. I'm bringing to you someone that I respect dearly. I think she's someone you should know. And so we're going to go in and we're going to ask her key questions about the state of our community, who she is, and what she recently did. And so I'm looking forward to you guys learning a little bit more about this young lady here. And we won't ask her age, but you can see she's pretty young. All right, so let's get at it. First and foremost, I would say this. I had a chance to meet you one time, and the one time that I met you, I appreciated the energy that you had. And what I take away from that interaction was you are very creative. Like you operate with this ability to see things and to put things together and pull on the intrinsic side of things. But tell our audience who is Reenie, and just give us a little tidbit about yourself, and I come back with some other questions.
Okay. Well, basically, I don't want to say the cliche thing, but I am very much a small town girl. I'm not like a city girl. I've been very active creatively since I was younger, starting in church, always singing and dancing, and then expanded to schools and programs. And I feel like a lot of being involved as I was younger kind of helped me to kind of shed the shy skin, so I'm not as shy to do things, or, I feel like I've allowed myself to let my personality shine. And as I've, grown over the years, opportunities come to those who, are able and willing to put themselves out there. I am very, I respect myself 100%. So I don't just, put myself out there for anything, because there's a lot of open doors, but the right ones will come. For example, the whole Family Feud thing kind of just fell into the lap of my family and I, because, I have a TikTok platform where I just, make silly videos or funny videos or informative videos about my career, and people are interested, and you just don't know who is looking at you or at your content. So, I mean, I was never, that person with the mommy manager or the daddy manager who, that would have been amazing, but it just kind of came over time with just believing in myself and just putting myself out there, because these platforms allow for you now to broadcast your talent or to create content. So, I mean, that's just basically who I am.
Now, a big part of who you are is also based on where you are in terms of the family dynamic. So tell us about your family. You one of how many siblings?
I have 4 sisters. I am the middle child. There's 5 of us total. There's 2 younger than me that are close in age. There are 2 older than me that are close in age. But surprisingly, we are all very, very close. Like, our ages differ 20 years, like from the youngest to the oldest. But we all get along. Like, we are the best of friends. We have amazing chemistry. Age really isn't a thing. It isn't at all.
So the oldest, let's start with your parents' first child. The oldest, was she like the mama of the siblings? Did she take care of you guys that type?
Absolutely. She tells us to this day, she was like, I used to change your diapers and I used to babysit y'all when y'all were bad, when y'all were young. Yes, absolutely.
And what does she do for a living?
I'm sorry?
What is her profession, the oldest?
I'm sorry. She is a director at Moravian College in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's one of the top colleges actually in Pennsylvania, period. It's a private school. It's this huge, their facilities is huge. But she's a director there. She used to work in social services as well. She's super successful. I look up to her. She just graduated with her master's just last year. I mean, the sky is the limit, not even the limit for her. She's very smart.
Yeah. But when you said director, that already told me being the oldest, move right into director. She's still directing since. And what about the youngest? Who's the youngest?
My youngest sister is Mia. My mom calls her my baby. She's like, I had her for you, because she is one of the funniest people that I've ever met in my life. Like, and again, I don't know what I would do without her. Like, her sense of humor, and just like, she gets me, on the mental and intellectual level. She's super smart. She's also in school. She graduated with her bachelor's from Kutztown University. I don't even think it's been a year. Like, I think we just attended her graduation this past. Yeah. So it's like, she's back in school. She works hard too, going to graduate with her master's. She's also a part of Mu Sigma Upsilon sorority. It's the first multicultural sorority in Pennsylvania for her school. So she's doing it up too. We try to stay very active and very involved, and very productive.
Now, what about the brother? Because he's the one out of 5. What was that like for him?
Well, I have an adopted brother. His name is Edwin. He lives in Orlando, Florida. However, he didn't necessarily grow up in the household. He was more so like adopted into the family back in like my teenage years, like maybe 13, 14 years old. He has a family out in Florida, and they're doing extremely well. He actually just got married last year. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't like integrated into the household. Like, he didn't get the crazy stuff,
Okay. All right, good. Now tell our audience, you have any children yourself?
I don't.
You're single. All right, single Black woman. So what do you do for a living?
I am currently an international flight attendant for United Airlines. I've actually been flying with United for 3+ years, but those years prior to this year, I was flying only domestic within the United States. And now I fly internationally with the brand still. So I'm not United Express, I am United at this point. It was an extensive training, but I made it.
Now I worked in Willis Tower, and United was there. I don't know if they still there now, but have you been to Chicago with the company?
Oh yeah, just 2 days ago. I was just there in ORD 2 days ago, walking to Starbucks in that big behind airport. Okay, it takes you half an hour to get from one terminal to the next. Yes, I was just there. Oh my goodness, the infamous RD.
Now you so like you went from a small town to now going all around the world. Talk about that experience first.
Well, I have a very good family foundation and a spiritual foundation. So it's not really like a kid in a candy store where you just lose your mind, because you know you meet those people that just kind of lose their mind when they go from small town to seeing Edinburgh or seeing Dublin. You know, they just lose it. But I come from a very strong foundation where I can actually go and enjoy life without, you know, destroying my life, being that, you know, it's something different. I don't, you know, get starstruck over what's different. I just learn to acknowledge and be grateful for and enjoy it, and, you know, kind of bask in it. I, you know, always try to find ways to bring back a piece of my journey to my family, because they still live in this small town. Bethlehem is a very small town. Bethlehem's probably like you can get from one end to the next in 19 miles, you know, but I always try to share those experiences with my family and my friends. And I mean, I just learned to grow, to love and enjoy the time that I have when I am away from home, because there's always that small town girl homesickness that I experience being away from home for long periods of time. But yeah, I just enjoy it. You know, I really just take it day by day, and I just thank God for the opportunities every day that I get to see another, you know, corner of the earth.
Now you so travel is a big deal. I'm actually, the reason I started the organization is because I went from the projects of a big city to traveling through the Navy around the world, and that refocused my whole thought process. And I believe that travel is what's missing in Black America, in this country, when it comes to this violence. A lot of hopelessness because people are trapped into what they see every day versus getting out and meet new people. First question, do you agree with travel being important to broaden a person's horizons? And then tell our audience where you've been, some of the countries and places you've been to already.
Right. I do agree that expanding your horizons helps you to be a little more humble. And even if you feel like you're humble, it humbles you more, because you see different areas of the world that don't stress about things that maybe your area of the world stresses about. And you realize, wow, you know, that's just first world problems, you know. Oh my God, like I don't have this new type of this or this new updated version of this. Whereas you go over there and you see they're just living without it, and they're living without it, you know. I mean, it's nice to have, but you know, you realize a lot of the things that you think you need, you really don't, because a lot of different countries just focus on the bare necessities, and you see how they find joy in small things, you know. I believe that it's very important to get out and travel, you know, as much as you can, just to open your mind. You know, I would read. I'm a big reader, and I enjoy reading books, you know, and reading your book here, you know, at your park, your local park, and reading your book somewhere else, your mind is able to absorb the information in a different way. And I can't really explain that, but I feel that. And that's something I definitely give, you know, to the public, and say, like, it just opens your mind to different things, different food, different people, different languages. You know, it's very important to travel. For example, my first international route with United when I got hired was Brussels, Belgium. And I had an amazing time. You know, the architecture, beautiful. It's very Gothic. It's different. Everything in America is very squared or very triangle. You know, over there, it's very like they have round corridors, and they have, you know, pictures of like the angels, and pictures of like the soldiers embedded into these buildings. It's amazing. The building's been there since the 1400s. You just you're like baffled at the fact that you're seeing something completely different than what you usually see. And you see people playing the accordion on the streets and dancing, and waffle trucks. You don't see ice cream trucks. You see Belgian waffle trucks, and there's kids and people bike riding. It's totally different, and it's totally it's very simplistic, very minimalist, but you see the people just enjoying themselves, sitting outside, enjoying the sky, looking up. It's very different.
You've been to Africa?
I haven't. There's 2 South Africa trips that we do. 3. I think we do Accra, Ghana. We do Johannesburg, South Africa, and we do Cape Town, South Africa. And I have not gotten to do those trips just yet, but I have them on my bucket list. And they're on my bucket list.
Turn up, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how different are you because you've been traveling than if you didn't travel, both domestically and internationally? Like, is there any difference in Reenie before and after?
Honestly, I just have more of an admiration for our country. Traveling domestically for 3 years, I would never go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. I would never go to Wichita, Kansas. I would never, go to these places. I've never heard of these places. Yet when I went there for work, you have a long layover and you get to explore the towns and the cities and the restaurants. It's just like, what? You're kind of mind blown. I went to Alexandria, Louisiana. I don't know anybody there. I have no family there. I had the best gumbo I ever had in my life. You just get to really enjoy where you're from. And my father used to always say that when I was younger. I used to always say, I want to travel the world, Dad. I want to travel the world. He's like, well, start with traveling with your own country, because you're going to find something here that you didn't even know was here. And once I started traveling, even domestically, I'm like, wow, my dad is right. Because there's things I never had a beignet before. You go to New Orleans, like, what? Y'all have this over here? Well,
wow.
Houston,
I forgot to ask, what do both your parents do for a living? I forgot. We need to bring them in. What do they do for a living?
Right. My dad actually just graduated from McCann School of Business. He works in IT tech. He works in IT in the hospitals. And my mother, she's a cardio tech ultrasound, if that makes any sense. I don't know how the words go. This hospital terms, okay?
Yeah.
I know what she does. She does the ultrasounds of the heart. So you just like that ultrasound for your babies. Basically, when the doctor orders pictures of the heart for people who have, heart issues, or everybody should go in and get their heart checked, every now and again. She's the one that goes in, pictures of the heart, and she diagnoses what goes on, and she passes those pictures to the nurses and the doctors, so that if you need a treatment plan, then they're able to do that. So she gives the vision. Mm-hmm.
But that's a stable household, though, and well-to-do, I would say, too, financially.
Yeah, everybody just, tries to stay productive and tries to, again, progressive. I would say progressive is the word, like however you got to get it, let's get it, and let's be the best that we can be at what we do. Let's love what we do.
So let's switch gears, and then I want to come up with the big reason I brought you on with what you guys just went through. Let's talk about adversity. What's your thoughts on the word adversity, given what you have traveled and seen other people, how they handle adversity? What would you speak to that word from your standpoint?
Well, when I think of adversity, I think of, tried and true. I think of, trials and tribulations. I think of the tug and pull of life and the polarity of life, honestly, because where there's up, there's down. And with traveling, I've seen different countries deal with different situations, handle situations very differently, whether it be financially, their government, whether it be their economy. Everybody deals with adversity very differently. And with traveling, I can say that I've seen countries deal with a lot of their adversity very different than we do here in America. You gain an admiration for them and their people, for the way that they band together and make it work for them. So, I mean, that's what I think of when I think of adversity.
So let me give you these, read just two scenarios. 9 people shot at a Philly nightclub, ages 23 to 40. Then we had 13 people shot over the weekend in Chicago, 10 of them in one family. Yesterday, 56-year-old man in Gary, Indiana, shot to death. So this violence that's happening, what's your thoughts on, like, what needs to happen from your vantage point to stop this type of stuff from happening?
Right. Unfortunately, my prayers go out to all those families, because that is very devastating to lose somebody, especially, and I read something on Facebook that said, like, returning home safely is the biggest, blessing. It is the biggest underrated blessing. And it really is, because nowadays people are not thinking. In all honesty, I go to my therapist and we talk a lot about being triggered. I joke about it because I was somebody who was very triggered when I was younger. I was quick to argue. I was quick to get angry. It even says in the Bible to not do that. Don't be quick to be angry, because it causes a lot of other damage somewhere else, and that type of anger kind of snowballs. When you're angry, it snowballs, and then it takes a minute to diffuse. So a lot of the crimes and things that are happening in the world, I personally feel like they are based off of people being triggered. I think that people should really take a step back and really breathe. People are not even breathing before they make decisions anymore. And I really think that people should breathe and think about the consequences. And if the consequences ain't strong enough, think about at least, the snowball effect that you're going to have on somebody else before you go make a decision based off of your anger or based off you being triggered because of whatever. I just think that if people use their brain and think more, actually think, because people are capable of it, and everybody has a conscience. If you just use your conscience to think more, I believe that we'd be able to kind of alleviate a lot of these problems. But it takes a strong person to not be triggered, and it takes a strong, courageous person to think before they make decisions. And that's the hard part.
I wrote down think more. I created this piece called Contaminated Box. And inside the contaminated box that I think we all have is hurt, abuse, and bitterness. And it depends on what levels at each moment, because you can get real contaminated. And I believe travel, along with meeting new people, can release some of them contaminated toxins and keep you from doing something, being triggered to take action. And that's why with you watching you travel all around, that's my bread and butter in terms of all these contaminated boxes in us, walking around angry, frustrated, hurt, abused, and bitter, and then we just snap off, do something we regret. And I think even rich kids, parents send their children away, travel to therapy and to get away from that toxic environment. So of course, when we talk about inner city violence, they can't afford to go away, but that is something we got to invest in so they can get away. Any thoughts on that? Then I want to get to Family Feud.
My last because I am very passionate about the community, being that my parents are also ministers and they work heavily in the community. When we first moved here, this community was very, very violent. It has definitely calmed down years, especially over the years that I've been here. I've physically, witnessed the gang violence calming down in our area, or in the next town over, Allentown. They would come over, like a lot of it has diffused. But my thing is, I feel like, there should be more programs, or there should be more involvement with the community when it comes to trying to stimulate these young minds to think, and not just school. I mean, for example, my parents faithfully throw a block party every summer in July, going into August, right before school. And I mean, they just go out there and they give food. Sometimes people are triggered because they don't have what they need. lack really does bring upon people anger and bitterness, so they have food drives and everything for the community, because if you can provide for these people, now they're not out there trying to hurt somebody else to get what they need. So I feel like, a lot of the cities and inner cities should provide a non-biased way, because a lot of people are, again, triggered, a non-biased way of creating a safe space for people to feel like they can get what they need. And it helps people to calm down. There's nothing more stressful than not having kids, or not having food for your kids to feed them, and to look in your refrigerator and see that there's nothing more stressful than that. Nothing. And it doesn't justify behavior. However, it's understanding thing that it does take, a village to help raise children.
No, I didn't know your parents were ministers, but that makes sense with your grounding too, because you are very grounded. You're also the middle child, so that's a part of, you get to see both ends in the household. So that is another grounding for you. How did the whole family feud piece come about?
Well, so sometimes, being that I'm a flight attendant, I don't really have a sleep schedule. Melatonin is my best friend sometimes. So sometimes I'm scrolling, you're just scrolling online, just seeing what is everybody doing besides sleeping, and people that are up like me, what are y'all doing? Because I'm up. So, you're scrolling, and I was scrolling on Instagram, and I seen an ad, and it was saying that if you want your family to play the feud, click here. So I'm like, oh my God, either this is a scam or like the feud in Atlantic City, New Jersey, because they do that, but it's not the actual feud. You just go down to play at the casino and whatever. So I'm like, but I'm very nosy, and I'm very I like to do my research. So I'm going to find out what are they talking about. So I click on it and I begin to read it, and they have like the terms and conditions and the fine print, and I'm going through it. I'm reading it. I'm like, wow, this is actually the show Family Feud. And then I think, well, what's the chances of me and my family getting on? But then I had to stop myself right there, and I had to say, well, the fact that thought came up means that you should probably try, because that's your conflicting thought right there. You got to tell that thought something. You can't just let it live like that. So my family and my sister, when she lived here in Pennsylvania, she owned a small gym, and she used to have a lot of like seminars for your health and seminars for for her workout routines. So body bang outs, and she would have like certain classes based on certain parts of your body. So my family and I all go to her glutes class, because everybody wants glutes nowadays, right? But it's best to get them natural. So we go to her glutes class. We're having so much fun. All my sisters are there. We're taking pictures. Got really nice, pictures. And then I remembered prior to that, my family had also taken a family photo for that year. So we have like actual, professional portraits, and they're asking for you to submit your family's pictures, and then like a little bit about yourself, like a brief synopsis, 700 words.
Right.
So I submitted the synopsis. I put the pictures in. I was like, well, God, that's on you at this point. I'm just going to trust you, because that thought really triggered me. So now I got to prove it wrong. So, I go and I go to work. I don't even think about it. I forget about it. Go to work, and a week later, I get an email from one of the recruiters saying, wow, your family looks super amazing, super fun. We would love to have you guys. If you can maintain that energy, that would be great. We'd love to do a Zoom call. They were saying that they usually don't do Zoom calls. They would fly us in for the interview, but it was during the peak COVID time, so they could not, because of protocol. So my family gets on the Zoom call. We're being silly, we're being ourselves. That's just how I am, just very, loquacious, just talking. And they like that, they love the energy, and they're eating it up. So they were like, wow, you know what? We like you guys. We like your energy. We can't say that you guys made it on the show for sure at this point, but we're going to say that we like you guys and we love your energy, and we're going to get back to you in 3 months. 3 months. 3 months. This was all throughout last year. Yep. 3 months pass. I'm not even thinking about anything. My birthday passes. I'm still not thinking about it, like not checking my email. And then we get an email saying, we'd like to further with you guys. And they start putting things together for lunch menus when we're there, and the itinerary, and giving us, the rundown of the show and the actual contract to sign. And I give all this to my older sister, the director. all the information. From there, I was like, this is blowing my mind. I can't focus. And I was like, I did my part. So I passed it on to the director. You know, she takes it and she looks at it. Her husband looks over it. Family looks over it. Fine print. Make sure everything is, you know, safe. It's safety is top, you know, and she's like, this is legit. And when she starts getting excited about it, that's when I start getting excited about it, because I know that she's very thorough. She is so thorough. I mean, you cannot get nothing past her.
And now, is she a Capricorn or a Leo?
What is she? I don't know the signs by months. I don't know nothing about the signs by months.
What is she? January, August?
September.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The actual months, but she's very organized. Love it about her. She gets it all together. They start sending us our itineraries, our tickets, you know, our everything just falling together, but not really feeling like we're stressing about it. Our jobs give us the days off. Mind you, like, I'm transitioning from domestic to international and actually being able to have these days off that I asked for. That never happens. That's one.
But you told them what it was for, right? They knew it was for Family Feud?
No. And also, we weren't allowed to say anything until the airing date. So we had to keep it a secret all that time. Even so, the type of work that I do, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could be going to see President Obama, and still, if you were on that schedule, you were going to work because that flight will go out, you know? So it's just like falling into place. And I mean, from there, it was so magical. I mean, when you get there, you're treated like a celebrity. You're picked up and chauffeured, and you got lunch, and you have a trailer. And then we had our own trailer with our last name on it. Like, nobody can use this bathroom except for them. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. It's amazing. And the recruiter that we worked with was Bryce. He was phenomenal. He was, you know, very homey and welcoming, and his hospitality made us feel. It was such an amazing experience.
Now, what city is this in California, or where at?
In Atlanta, and we didn't know that either. In Atlanta, yep, because Steve's studios for his morning show, for his talk show, all of that is in Atlanta. We thought LA too, and we were like, Atlanta, okay. Yeah.
So how did you break the news to your sisters that you even applied?
A group chat.
And I was like, okay with it?
Yeah, they were just like, okay. But they just trust my judgment too. They trust my judgment. Since I've, you know, grown up, and since I've matured, and since I travel, there's a lot of fine print that I read every day. There's a lot of things that I have to know about every day. So I appreciated them trusting my judgment, because it wasn't like, well, why'd you do that? It wasn't like that. Another thing is the older sister, she loves Family Feud, and she always has since I've been a kid. So her biggest dream was to be on Family Feud. So I was like, well, I got you, sis. I mean, you know, that was her biggest dream. She always wanted to be on Family Feud. And I mean, she loved it. She ate it up. She thought it was an amazing experience. And that's why, another reason why she was so expedited on the process with reading the contract and getting everything squared away, because this is one of her biggest dreams, right. You know? So they were excited.
Did they tell you, like, how does it work? Did they tell you guys what family you're competing against, or you had no idea?
You have no idea. You compete against finalists. So they've already gone, and then it's like a tournament, you know? So the team that we played against had already won a round. So it's like you get placed in with them. You either beat them or they advance. You beat them or they advance, like that. It was such an amazing experience. I mean, I would do it 10 times over again.
What your parents thought about it?
Oh, they were so proud. They were laughing at us at some of the answers, because, like, when you're there, the nerves sometimes get to you and you don't really think, and then you don't really have time to think. Like, you know, when you're shouting at TV, you got a couple minutes to think, but it's like when you're there, you're competing. So you have to be faster. Not only you have to be faster, but you got to be smarter or wittier. And I mean, it was for them, it was a very funny experience. We were comedic gold to them. But I mean,
Now,
they love.
what was Steve Harvey like?
He is a very wise man, and I will always say that he's wise before he is funny because it is the truth. However, he is very funny. I mean, he is the comedic gold. You know, I'm so happy that we got to be on the show with him as the host. I'm so happy that we got the time in between to speak to him. I'm so happy that we got the chance to, you know, even the commercial breaks are 2 minutes long, being able to converse with him or hear what he has to say. And it's like, you know, you get to be on the Steve Harvey show without actually purchasing a ticket in between
Right. Right.
rounds, because he's giving you the same advice. He's giving you the same opportunities that he, you know, gives to people who actually comes to his talk show. You know, I think it's amazing to be able to see him in person and him be just as wise and funny and witty as he is on TV. It's just, you know, he is who he is. And you learn when you go and you see him, then you look at him and you think, wow, like that is just who he is. Camera on, camera off, don't matter.
Well, just so you know, he is a Capricorn, January birthday.
Wow.
No, I you know, this is amazing, and I love your energy. Like you said, you exude confidence, and knowing your parents' background, that explains it. Middle child. I think my audience is gonna love hearing what you gave us, the tidbit on how the Family Feud works and Steve Harvey. We went 30 minutes. I didn't even know it was gonna go this long, but this is good. You know, anything that I didn't ask that you want to share?
I feel like I shared. I don't know. I don't have too much to share. I do want to, although we did talk about a lot of fun topics, I do want to place a little more emphasis on the whole, because we spoke briefly about it, but the whole gang, gun violence and inner city violence. I do, because I know that's what you do. That is your ministry, if you will. And I do want to, you know, place a little highlighter on that, because I don't want to get that information lost within everything else fun that we talked about, because that's very important. But other than that, I don't really have too much to say. I mean, I feel like 21 questions, Si. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, every first Saturday forever is our travel day. Every first Saturday. So if anyone has a travel agency, making sure the young people travel. And so I got you on that list for Saturday. And so we'll just stay connected with you. And I would love for you to leave our young people some advice as we close out on the need to get outside their neighborhood and meet and see new things.
So my take on it would be, even if you don't go far, go anyway, you know, because like I said, the whole going to see Wichita, Kansas and going to see Tulsa, Oklahoma, even if you don't want to go that far, there's always something within the next city over. You know, take a drive, take a bus, take a train to the next city over, go to that movie theater, go get something to eat, go to that, you know, that museum, go see something. Google is an amazing resource. If you can't find it on your own, Google is a wonderful resource. You can type anything, restaurants near me, you know, restaurants within 25 miles, but just get out and go regardless. Don't be afraid. Just get out and learn and go regardless, and go without judgment. Go with an open mind, go knowing that you're going to learn regardless, and go just feeling like you're going to have a good time. If you take that energy with you, I promise you, you will. No matter what happens, I promise you, you will enjoy yourself, but just go.
I thought that was going to be it, but let me get this one last point across. I want to get your thoughts on it. We take young people 14 and up. And I remember we took some young people to New York. June is our New York trip, our best trip. And I honestly can see how they are different when they come back from that road trip to New York versus, so for the young girls, what I always said for the girls in particular, I believe the travel allows them to feel more confident, and less men can come into their life and try to excite them over some minuscule travel. I know you just said travel anywhere, versus being able to say, hey, I've been all the way to New York. I've been out the country. You better take me somewhere bigger than that. So I just think I want you to give your thoughts on, can travel boost girls' confidence so that they're not taken advantage of down the line? What you think on that?
Oh, personal experience, definitely. Oh, definitely. When I was younger, I mean, take me to the diner in downtown Bethlehem and I'm excited. Now it's not even about, not necessarily about money, or it's not about being superficial, but it's really about having a standard. It's having a standard, because if you want to, you will. And, I mean, you don't have to take me to Bora Bora, but I mean, everybody can save. And if you want to, you will. And that, it gives me that mindset. I definitely do have that mindset, because it's like, I've seen this, so you can't take me to Denny's anymore. I'm only getting older. I'm not dumb. I'm not slow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you don't want to put in the effort to at least be creative, traveling gives you a creative mind. If you don't want to put in the effort to be creative, then I can't do this, because I know what I see. It gives you a higher standard, not superficial, but just a higher standard. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. And that's me. In the Navy, I got a chance to see some stuff. You can't take that away from what I experienced. So I'm totally with you. Thank you for your time. I have your number, so I'm gonna be in touch with you with this first Saturday connection. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sai. I appreciate the interview. I had an amazing time. Thank you, guys. Take care.